You'd never suspect it from the unassuming exterior, but hidden beneath the sleek, subtle lines of this ordinary 60s sedan lies a fire-breathing beast, a heart-pounding, adrenaline-fueled power plant that was never meant to find its way into a humble family car. Yet somehow, against all odds, that's exactly what happened. You wouldn't expect to find a fire-breathing 427 cubic inch V8 engine under the hood of a cheap, ordinary American sedan from the 1960s. But that's exactly what we've uncovered, a rare, unassuming car that hides one of Chevy's most legendary power plants. This particular model flew under the radar back in its day, but now it's a highly sought-after collector's item. What makes it so special? Well, let's just say this 60s sleeper packs a seriously unexpected punch. You're not going to want to miss the story behind the cheapest car ever to come from the factory with a 427 V8. The 1967 Chevy Biscayne SS can be had today for next to nothing. You know, if you're shopping for a classic muscle car with a big old block under the hood, chances are you've already choked on the asking prices for the well-known nameplates like GTOs, 442s, and the big Chevys. But here's the kicker. The 1967 Chevy Biscayne SS, the one that could be ordered with that legendary 427 V8, you can still scoop one of those up for the price of a well-used pickup truck. Isn't that wild? I mean, who in their right mind would have thought you could find a fire-breathing 427 cubic inch V8 under the hood of a cheap, ordinary American sedan from the 1960s? But that's exactly the kind of unassuming gem we've uncovered here. A rare sleeper of a car that's hiding one of Chevy's most legendary big block engines. You see, this particular model flew largely under the radar back in the day, but now, those who are in the know are quickly realizing just how special and affordable these 427 equipped Biscaynes really are. What makes it so special, you ask? Well, let's just say this 60s sleeper packs a seriously unexpected punch, and you're not going to want to miss the story behind the cheapest car ever to come from the factory with a 427 V8. In fact, according to recent data, the recent sales of these 67 Biscaynes have ranged anywhere from $19,900 for a clean driver-quality example all the way up to $47,000 for a really well-preserved 427 model. Can you believe that kind of spread? And get this, Hagerty's valuation tool pegs a 67 Biscayne in good condition at around $10,900. Even for the super clean, excellent, and concours level examples, the values only climb slightly from there. So we're talking about serious performance potential for a fraction of what you'd pay for a similarly equipped Chevelle or Impala from the same era. You know, the real key to the Biscayne's affordability is its kind of under-the-radar appeal. The truth is, most people just aren't that familiar with this model, so they don't really realize the hidden potential that's lurking under the hood. But for the muscle car fans who are in the know, this is one of the last remaining 60s-era bargains. So what do you think? Does a 427-powered 1967 Biscayne sound like the kind of sleeper you'd want to hunt down and add to your garage? I have a feeling the comments section is about to light up with some passionate responses on this one. Can't wait to see what you all have to say. The Biscayne SS had the legendary Chevy 427 V8 under the hood. The beating heart of this Biscayne SS? Chevrolet's fearsome 427 cubic inch V8, a motor that had firmly cemented itself in muscle car lore by this point. I mean, you gotta understand, in 1967, Chevy actually offered this car with not just one, but multiple different versions of that mighty 427 V8 under the hood. We're talking the L36 and the even higher performance L72 variant. Now the L36 was no slouch. It was still pumping out a seriously impressive 385 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. But the real star of the show was the L72. This thing absolutely cranked out 425 horsepower, making the Biscayne one of the most powerful full-size cars you could buy from GM back in '67. Pair that with either a Muncie 4-speed manual or a 3-speed turbo-hydromatic transmission, and this sleeper sedan could rocket down the quarter mile in the mid-14s. I mean, that's some serious performance for something that looked like a plain old family car or a cop car, right? And let me tell you, these big block 427s weren't just impressive on paper either. They had a real attitude and personality to them, you know? That deep, snarling exhaust note, the instant gobs of torque, and the way the car would just squat down under hard acceleration. It was all a clear indication that this Biscayne was packing some serious heat under the hood. In fact, since the Biscayne model was often a bit more stripped down and lightweight compared to its fancier Impala sibling, it actually made for an even better weapon at the drag strip in many cases. So in short, this 427-powered 67 Biscayne SS wasn't just some affordable sleeper. It was a genuine, fire-breathing muscle car that could more than hold its own against the Blue Oval and Mopar competition of the day. It just happened to be wrapped in a remarkably unassuming package. Pretty wild, right? I have a feeling the gearheads out there are going to get a real kick out of this one. The Biscayne SS was for those who wanted the room, but on a budget. You know, Chevrolet really designed the Biscayne to be the no-frills, full-size car for no-nonsense buyers. No chrome overload, no fancy interiors, no luxurious badges, just good old steel, bench seats, and honest utility. And that same straightforward, practical DNA carried right on through to the SS 427 version as well. I mean, this was a car built for the kinds of practical, no-nonsense buyers you'd find in places like police departments, municipal fleets, and the like. But the beauty of it was, you could still walk right into any Chevy dealer and option it out however you wanted. That meant you could pair the plainest, most stripped-down two-door post body with a fire-breathing 427 heavy-duty suspension and just the bare minimum of trim. The result? A total factory sleeper with no excess weight and a surprisingly roomy interior to boot. Now, while a lot of the flashier muscle cars of the day like the GTO and Charger were chasing that younger, hipper buyer demographic with bold colors and bucket seats, the Biscayne just stuck to its guns as a full-size car for the more grown-up, practical-minded crowd. It wasn't trying to be flashy, and that's exactly what made it so cool. It was a straight-up workhorse that could still double as a mean weekend warrior. And in today's world of overpriced classic muscle, I think that perfect blend of practicality and power is a big part of what makes these Biscayne 427s so appealing. This was a muscle car with no excess, no frills, just pure, unadulterated performance wrapped in an unassuming package. The kind of car that would just quietly smoke the competition without ever having to shout its credentials from the rooftops. Sounds like the kind of sleeper you'd want to hunt down and add to your own garage, doesn't it? It was a factory sleeper that outsmarted flashier muscle cars. All right, so check this out. At a glance, this 67 Biscayne SS didn't really look like much, you know? I mean, no fancy stripes, no badges shouting about the horsepower. Heck, not even any of those cool rally wheels unless you went and added them yourself. But man, when you looked under the skin, this thing was one of the most deceptively mean muscle machines GM ever built. I'm talking about a total factory sleeper in the truest sense. Bare bones, big motor, and brutally fast. And you know what? That's what really made the Biscayne the perfect choice for those looking to fly under the radar. I'm picturing it now. Back in the day, a Biscayne 427 could just casually pull up next to a Mustang or a GTX, give absolutely no warning, and then just absolutely lay waste to them in a straight-line duel. That kind of quiet confidence is pretty rare in the muscle car world, which is usually all about bold style and in-your-face attitude. But you know, that's exactly why those in the know really remember the Biscayne SS 427. It didn't need to shout, it just went. No fuss, no muss, just pure, unfiltered performance. And get this, that sleeper status of the Biscayne, it totally carries over to the present day too. While collectors have driven up prices for a lot of the flashier muscle cars out there, the Biscayne just keeps on slipping by unnoticed. I mean, for any of you gearheads looking to get into a legit big block muscle car without needing to remortgage the house, I really think snagging one of these 427-powered Biscaynes before the secret gets out is just about the smartest move you could make. What do you think about this car? Let's have your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you like more content like this.